Welcome. I've been expecting you for a long time. Well, I'm pretty sure some of you were expecting me. But now, we come face to face. Or in this case, a live stream. But now, it is time to reveal myself. I, who you may call as the production manager, the director of this production. And I say to you, welcome! I am the director, Sam Foster. But for those who do not know me, you probably know me from Teenage Robot Rebooted. But to all those, welcome to the first ever live stream to Mina and the Count Resurrected. I am your host, Sam Foster. You probably also know me as the writer for Teenage Robot Rebooted. So this week we'll be discussing our... Sorry. Okay, let me just go a little bit more less exciting. So this week we'll be discussing our why I took a 14-month hiatus, and we and also be discussing our reason I did the April Fool's Day joke and answering your questions. So let's get to it. First of all, I'm going to explain the big flabby elephant in the room. Where have you been for the past 14 months? Well, I'll start at the beginning. Basically, college was pretty much the biggest part of my, problem for me. So I started out at University of Delaware, and things were going actually quite well. I actually was going for a degree in computer science and majoring. So things were going well, but I had to repeat for the first year. Well, not technically the first year. I had to repeat for pre-calculus due to a low grade. Maybe this was probably why. So then I was supposed to actually take the winter off and then go off to was actually meant to work for my sorry, this is actually my first thing, so I'm kind of nervous. But then my dad offered me to work for his renovation business or do an accelerated course in chemistry, which I chose the latter. Well, but he was also going to pay me. Unfortunately, though, things went completely wrong. One thing was I didn't know what an accelerated course was because I actually thought it was going to take place within a month. It sounded like a dream. But in reality, it was a nightmare because, one, I had an exam that was actually literally 1 week after I started. Two, I had to be extremely prepared for this. I mean, not like, just like prepared, like saying, oh, you get like, get your books, get your pencils, make sure you have this assignment done and all that. No, I got to tell you, you need to have not only do you have to be like a day prepared, let's say you have to be prepared for the whole week. And it drove me up the wall. Because, and also there was also this little assignment I had to do each night and I couldn't keep up. So literally 1 weekend, I actually dropped out of I dropped out of University of Delaware entirely. So, I then transferred over to Delaware Technical Community College, which I actually did have some relations with back in the past because I was in Alexis I. DuPont High and took a sociology course and a psychology course under the Del Tech name. And also I took a course that dealt with sort of, don't know how to pronounce it. It's kind of like mechanical engineering, but it dealt with like microchips. And there was actually one that dealt with robotics. Like if any of you out there are actually dealing with Lego robotics, or like built those little droids, something like that. So things were going well, and actually it felt so much better because it really was, you know, like a normal course. I had history, pre-calculus, and macroeconomics. I think it was, yeah, I think it was macro. So things were going well, but still wasn't looking too good for pre-calculus. So that was when my dad decided to get me a tutor. I'm going to keep his name anonymous because I don't know if he's watching this. Trust me, I don't know if he's watching this because I don't think he actually is with cartoons. But I decided to just keep it a secret. I'm going to turn on the lights a little dark. So I decided I'm going to keep his name a secret. So first of all, things started out nice. He seemed okay, but then as soon as like within like the first week, problems not only did come between us and the tutor, but with my my parents itself. It actually got to a point where it sort of tainted my relationship with my father, because every time I see him, thank you for a nice room, thank you. Every time I see him, I kept thinking he was going to be like, "Oh, I need you to do this," or "I need you to do that," or "Oh yeah, your tutor sent you this," or "You should do that." And this guy and this tutor and my father, sometimes they were on me like freaking cameras, like the camera that you're seeing right now. They were on me. Well, to be completely honest, their methods worked, and now I did actually gain some benefits now because I've been taught to use flashcards, and now look at this, flashcards. I use flashcards for actually some stuff that I use for memorization and stuff. So luckily enough, I actually was going well, but since they were on me, I had to put the production in production for halt for 7 months. Right after I did my commentary for the Mina and the Count short from 1992, which I will post later in the link below. But I did attempt once. Actually, there was an attempt to get it sort of back on the road. I was it was during the spring semester, and I was chatting with some people like who were pretty much like were pretty much my age. Well, technically, they were all my age. So they were doing it was kind of like a gaming club, and then I told them about that, and all of them actually at first seemed interested. However, as time, probably because I was sitting around all day and I kind of was also working on stuff. All except one backed out of the project, and it still just was still like only getting hints of ideas every now and then. So then luckily enough, I got through the spring semester actually very well. Came out with a B, but then summer hit us, and this I think actually it was when the tutor actually escalated. It went from nearly 2 days a week to about 5 days a week. Basically, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The entire week. Every week. Because, unfortunately, I had to deal with calculus to get that. Well, because technically I had to repeat it. We had to sort of go with the calculus route and just go, get this out of the way. But this guy, it actually got even worse because I had to do it early in the morning. And I have to tell you something. I loathe getting up early in the morning. Loathe it. I'm pretty sure anyone who's watching it, the 2 people who are watching me right now, are listening to this. Anyways, so basically, that problem really got into it. The guy really got under my skin, got on my nerves. And so I had to take tests again. And the biggest problem to me, I think, actually this was, and his concepts and his methods worked once again, because he pretty much is the identical, pretty much the exact same things, methods, and it worked. But then I'm going to tell you something. This was actually the most shocking that I found. And I actually, after doing this, not only do I never want to do math again, but then as soon as came out, this came out to be extremely shocking. I heard this from my father. He actually, every time that a test came around, he actually stated that he had no hope for me. Every single time. And there actually was even a time when I actually got 100 on the test, on an exam. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, are you... And here's the thing, though. This guy was not cheap. The guy was $60 an hour. And we've pretty much spent nearly between $5,500 to $6,000 on him. Because I pretty much was on him. I was pretty much all over, you know, just like thinking, I never want to deal with like college ever again. So then August came around and I finally got a chance to just go like and take a break going, oh, I know that sounded disgusting. So anyways, I went off to Rehoboth, beautiful place, and anyone who has not been there, I recommend it. So we were, this was when I finally decided, I got everyone back together, and luckily, most of the crew got back together, and we've been doing arrangements and stuff. I came up with some ideas. Another one came up with an idea, which I could probably show up to later. I'll actually show some ideas later for some people. And it was until, unfortunately, October that I decided to start up these meetings, like lot production crew meetings, because I wanted to actually settle down and get through, get through like the first month of it and just, get used to it. So we got into it, and here's the main, so basically I'm going to give you the main story of the show. It's going to be set in the year 1995, and it's going to take place it's going to take place pretty much almost immediately after the events of the shorts. Like pretty much picks up right where we left off. We're going to be for those who are probably thinking to us if there's going to actually be any if there's actually going to be a Teenage Robot reference or like any characters, that's going to be a no. We are not going to do that. However, we will make references to Tremerton, like the town of Tremerton or something, or maybe have like a small character, like a minor character appear in like in the background somewhere, like as if some of the events happen. So it's sort of going to be like a spinoff / prequel to the show itself. So we're thinking of some ideas that we can do. We actually, and I wanted to get forward on what actually came forth of our April Fool's Day joke, which is also in the channel. So you can go to my channel and you can find out the videos. It's a pretty cool thing, but I will show you how we got into all of this. So basically, it was during, I think it was January or February. I was going through, was playing around playing Garry's Mod, and I'm a Garry's Mod fan. And this was based on a rejected concept. We were going, actually, because, I'm sorry, let me start over. So I was playing through Garry's Mod, and I was thinking to myself of like all those those movies like Resident Evil or Escape from New York that have like a post-apocalyptic universe, or like a corporate taking over the world. So I was thinking to myself, why don't we actually do that? Because it actually would be sort of funny. Kind of funny to actually pull off, and yeah. So anyways, I got most of the crew together. We got about we got some stuff together, and I'm going to show you right now some of the cool screenshots, and some of which have never been seen on have never been seen in the trailer. So let me pull this up. Right. So I will show you right now. Okay, so here is my pictures. This is where I get all my ideas and stuff. Okay, so we decided to go with a post-apocalyptic setting. Now, here, this was during the end of the trailer. So I will zoom in on this. Let me get rid of this. So this here is the gang. This is Lucy, or as I like to call her, Lucy. This is Mina, and we decided to have like a little scar here. And also this is Nick. Probably know. We planned the story within, it took about a month of planning. We wrote a script for that. We did concept art, and I did the storyboarding, which I will show some of you right now. So, actually, let me show you a never before seen one. It was meant to be a little bit more dramatic. This was actually a gun. This was probably like Lucy's gun. This is just a close-up on Nick's face. So there. So I'm pretty sure everyone is asking to yourself, why in the holy mother of Pete did you decide to go with this route? Well, this is actually a really good, here's one good reason why. We were actually planning to go, the original concept for the show was actually going to be take a completely different turn. Which I will show you actually once again. I actually have a promotional, this is an unreleased promotional picture that I have shown. So let me show you right here. Oh my gosh, I know. Sorry for all those. Sorry, this is kind of like, I know it's like bad quality. So we were planning. This was originally supposed to be planned to be a. You got to be kidding me. Ugh. Right. Sorry of the bad quality. So originally, we had plans to actually have it set 3 years into the future. We were going to have it set in the year 1998, and the Count was actually going to be sort of a minor character and would have been focused more on Mina and Nick, sort of getting sort of like, you know, that relation, getting like sort of gaining a relation and actually going on investigations and such. Although the idea actually got some positive reception. Everyone, one of our producers, named Brandon Rainsford, criticized the idea as it kind of felt like it was like if you would take Mina and the Count and let's say like a film like Scooby-Doo or Martin Mystery or any of those films, and you drop them in the blender. So then I looked at that and I was like, "Oh crap!" I know what I was like, "What the frick was I thinking?" So we completely reset the entire story. Actually, I may show you a little. I'll show you some better shots of the. This is probably your only time that you'll. Yeah, it's a kind of an interesting idea, but the idea was then tossed out, and we decided to go with an idea that would actually stick more close to the original source material. So yeah, Mina was actually meant to be 10, but we decided, no, we're not going that route. So we decided to, I got the artist who is, actually, she is brilliant in her work. Her name is Christina Frank. I'll post a link in the chat box as soon as we're done. I will show you, some probably have seen this, but others probably have not. So here is our concept art for Christina. I'm sorry, for Mina. As you can see, we updated her animation quality slightly because I do like the animation style of Mina and the Count. It's very similar in tone to like, okay, here is the original. I'm going to compare. So this is the original picture for Mina. And this is the original, the concept art for this. So as you can see, I kind of like the idea, like, you know, it's sort of like the teenage robot style, like it's like that. However, I was thinking to myself that we should probably update it because after a while, we have a visitor. Say hello, welcome everyone to our. This is my co-director, Jacob Penzak. Jacob, why don't you please introduce yourself?
Is my mic working?
Yes, your mic is working.
Sweet.
So everyone, please welcome our co-director, Jacob Penzak.
How you doing, guys? Yo, so Sam, I thought everyone else was gonna be here.
Everyone is. Some people are coming. We're just explaining we're just explaining everything what's going on so far, and I'm explaining the development process so far.
So where is this live? YouTube?
Yes, this is on YouTube. This is on Google Hangouts.
Okay.
And we only have like 2 viewers so far.
So it's your dad and your mother?
No. It's Ray Welker and some Russian dude.
Иди нахуй, ссылка, блядь. P90 Russian B. I don't know. That's really all the Russian I know. Anyway.
So, all right. So, welcome to our first production. I mean, no, I'm sorry, live stream. Where was I? Oh, yes. So, as I stated before, we're planning to update Mina's. We're planning to update. I'm sorry. I know I'm stuttering. Oh, whoops. That's the right word. This is, we're planning to update it like this. As technically, I kind of liked Christina's artwork, and it actually makes it more sort of lively, and we could probably also experiment with a better quality. So, if you guys in the viewing, what do you think? Ray Welker says it's cool. Tina says lol. What else was I gonna do? I had an agenda. I'm actually sort of like going out right now. Oh, actually, why don't we share? Actually, I kind of want to share some ideas we have for our sharing some ideas we had.
Let me put a shirt on so I can actually talk normally and show my face.
Do you have? I'm sorry, what?
Oh yeah, no, I just got back from T-Mobile. I had to get someone a phone.
You can undo your camera if you have a.
I need to put a shirt on, dude. I just got home.
Please put your clothes on, please.
I'm wearing pants, asshole.
This is a live meeting, man. Don't want that. Anyways, let's actually, this will be our first little, we actually have some ideas that I wanted to share with you guys. So we're going to go into our, I'm going to zoom in, and I will show you what we have so far. We have an idea I had. This is, actually, this one was, I have 2 ideas, particularly that I wanted to share because Jacob and I go actually way back. We actually were, we first met in kindergarten, and we remember 2 short films that came from Mr. Francis P. Vincent was his full name, or we used to call him Mr. V, as we called him. The first shorts this came up basically back in 2004. This was based on an idea. I mean, was based on a short film where a series of, a group of children, both boys and girls, they stream off into the woods. They this in search of a witch's hut they got from an ancient map. So these 2 girls, eventually in the woods, they come to a fork in the road, and they decided to split. This is Jacob Pensak's face.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just explaining that short film, The Witch's Hut. Got it. So anyways, the girls eventually find the hut, and they go inside, and this is, nowadays, this isn't creepy at all. they find a plate of cookies with milk. They drink out of it because that's what anyone in horror movies do, right? Instead of just, you know. And then they, I used to say this, turn into witches. Well, now it's called, they get possessed by the spirits of the witches. Eventually, the boys find the girls, still, they're now possessed, and then they turn them into, like, maggots and, like, rats and worms, and they're, like, starting laughing maniacally, and that's about it. That's where it ends. Yeah. No resolution, nothing. It just ends there. So the idea I had for this one, this idea was called, this is still a work in progress. It's basically a similar, is actually going to be similar to it, because one thing has never been used, a horror icon that's never been used in the series was the witch. You know, there's been tons of stories throughout the years, like throughout America's history. There was the Salem witch trials, there was the Bell Witch, and even movies like Blair Witch or Hocus Pocus or any other witch film that you could think of. Oh, there was also books like The Crucible. That was a good book. So anyways, we're planning to actually take a little of a similar route with this genre where let's say we're planning to have like Mina go out somewhere with some friends, and then they find an ancient village that was once home to a witch that placed a curse on it. However, they stumble upon something that they shouldn't have, and a curse is put on the students. So it's up to the Count and Mina to save them. Why are you shaking your head? Is there something you'd like to share? Don't. You're not supposed to do that, man. Please don't do that.
Technically, as long as we're not really going to get copyright striked, this isn't going to be monetized.
I know, but this is supposed to be like
child-friendly.
Kind of, yeah.
Dang it. You're no fun.
You already put off 2 things, but I'm letting you off the hook, so I'm letting you off with a warning. All right, the next one. Our next one actually was sort of a favorite of mine, and actually Jake and I were co-stars in it, and he actually did sort of the special effects for this one. This one was called The Day the Ghost. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to talk about
exists.
Here we go.
No, fuck that. I didn't think that shit still existed.
Yeah, forget it. Forget it. I'm more loose. Screw it.
What?
Okay, anyways.
Oh, I cursed again for you.
Okay, this is called The Day the Ghosts Came to School. I think that was the title. I think it was. It was something like something ghost, something school or something. But, okay, so here's how it starts. Same guy, same director, same horror master, Francis P. Vincent. Okay, so it starts off with a science class that, to be surprising, was actually in a cafeteria. So it starts off with Mr. Vincent, as always, showing off a chemical that can actually make the coloring of another liquid disappear. So then the teacher goes off out into the rooms, goes out of the room somewhere, and then one kid, dares another to start drinking it. But then another kid, yes, this is a cartoon. Another kid stops and pushes it, and it gets the liquid all over the other kids. Like, it gets on their clothes, it gets in their, like, on their pants, I think, and some on their legs. So they have to clean it up and then probably explain to them what happened. But then shortly after, they become invisible. So basically, it's not ghosts. It's invisible people. But I think actually the title, The Day That the Invisible People Came to School and Started Haunting People, would probably not be a good title. So then So then let's go to my scene. I actually did like a few scenes, like a sim things, like thinking. I remember my last, like, I don't think the school's haunted. And then let's get to some of the effects that were used were actually by strings. And Jacob here, he actually did one of the effects where he actually had to pull a string on a swing, swinging back and forth.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, actually. Oh yeah, you were with Lyle or whatever his name was.
Novak at the time?
What?
Novak or O'Connor?
No, Lyle.
Oh my god. That is old. Jesus.
Yeah, 2004. Actually, no. Actually, wait. Actually, yeah, it was.
It's 0403.
Actually, it was the fall of 2004 because I was in Miss McGee's.
Oh my gosh, I remember Miss McGee.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that was Nicholas Bastiani. He was on the swing, and then I could hear him like giggling.
I'm sorry about the motorcycles in the background. Only way I can get cold air in my apartment.
The funny thing is, though, as actually probably the funniest scene, actually, I think I could remember, was I think this was probably the last scene that I recall at the top of my head, whereas there was actually sort of I'm pretty sure it's another science class, or it's probably like like a biology class or something, where this teacher, played by Mr. Jewell, if you remember him. Okay, so basically he was showing the human body, like the skeleton body, like, you know, doing that, which happened to be in the music room for some reason. Yet again, I don't know why. Why the science room is in the cafeteria, so who cares? So he turns his head, and then the skeleton starts shaking around. The kids at first will go like, the skeleton's moving. He's like, there's no skeleton moving. Then it turns and does it again. And then they run out the room. And unfortunately, that's all I can remember from that scene. So here is what we're planning to do. We're planning to actually take this, and we're planning to update it with a new title called Ghostly. Basically, it's gonna have the same plot as the show, as the short film, but actually, we're gonna actually shake it up a little, spin it around a little bit. So basically, it's gonna have like the science class. You all right? Am I speaking too loud? Anyways, so this time it's gonna be like the same plot. Like, let's say the teacher, whoever we're still, put a link in the forget it. Anyways, so we're gonna have a similar plot where the teacher. We're planning to actually have more teachers rather than Miss Dupree, who was like seen in episodes 2 and 5. I think it was 5. Yeah, episode 5. But this time, the Mina actually sort of gets interested, and she was like, maybe I can do something like that. So then she goes over to the Count, and she plans it out, and sure enough, because, well, it goes successfully because, you know, the Count has like all this stuff, and, you know, however, by some mistake, she accidentally gets the chemical all over herself, and she becomes invisible. But the only problem, because, well, they were busy with that, is that they don't have an antidote. So, and the bigger problem is that it's already near school hours are about to come up. So it's up to Mina for right now to see how she can go with life. One day invisible. And I'm thinking to, as well as taking inspiration from this, I'm also taking inspiration from the H.G. Wells novel, The Invisible Man, and also the film, The Invisible Man by James Wales, the 1933 version, where I plan to have her in like sort of a cloak. Okay, I can't really show that. I can't show like a clip for copyright reasons, but a picture I think won't actually mind. So I'll show you a picture of what I mean. Similar to this. Similar to this, if you guys actually get it. But we could have her like, let's But also, instead of like, have her covered up in bandages, we could have her covered up like, she's trying to like hide her face. Like I have this hoodie right here. I have my hoodie right here. So that we can have her covered up like this, and she's going like, like or like that, like so that she's like making it more common. But then, unfortunately, but then at some point, let's say she loses it, or like it gets like her little disguise gets destroyed. So then she goes a little cuckoo and then starts to throw pranks around. Like, and we may actually, and we'll probably reference some other ones that were actually in the short film that like that could actually good for recess. So what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think? The two people in there, what do you guys think? Hello? Hello? Anyone here? Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Well, what else can I talk about? Hang on a sec. I'm just doing something. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Just give me 1 sec. All right, never mind. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing. I do have some other ideas. We do have some scripts. We do have scripts that we are currently underway, and we're actually planning to do a Christmas special. Oh, actually, you know what? I want to talk about this. Who here has seen a cartoon version of Krampus? Like The Legend of Krampus? Pretty much. Since there's silence, I'm going to say that is a no. But I'm pretty sure everyone has seen the movie, and it's like the movie's good and pretty spooky. So I was thinking we could actually do a Christmas special that actually, instead of the Saving Christmas Santa gag, because every single cartoon known to man has had, like almost every single one has had an episode that focuses on one thing: saving Christmas and saving Santa.
Hey, yo, Sam.
Yeah.
I got a recording I'm being dragged into, so I'll talk to you later.
Okay, I'll talk to you later then.
As heads up, don't forget to bring up the Death Fan idea.
What?
Dr. Death, his van, the assisted suicides.
Oh, wait, that's another one. That's another one.
Don't forget to bring that up.
I'll bring it up because actually it's kind of a cool idea. So I'll throw it in there.
Yeah. Peace out, man.
All right, peace out.
I'll call you later today.
All right, bye-bye.
Peace.
So anyways, we decided to go, I wanted to go this route because every cartoon show, even My Life's a Teenage Robot, if any of you has seen My Life's a Teenage Robot, the episode A Robot for All Seasons, what is it about? Basically, well, it's technically half, like one part saving Christmas and another part like finding out, like there was like a twist where it turns out that Jenny actually was like under control for a year, and that's basically it. But it kind of felt like the same thing. Saving Christmas. That's it. So we decided, why don't we take a little spin on that and go with a more darker route and actually involve Krampus, if you all know what I mean. All right, the next idea, which I think will probably get all of you interested. This is a sort of an interesting one that since Jake had brought it up, we decided to come up with this. So it is, any of you have seen, there's like plenty of, if you are a horror buff such as myself, you probably know that there are tons and tons of films that deal with a, that do basically like a haunted car, like driving around killing people. That's it. That's the main gist. So we decided to go with a more unique route and have it dealing with a Oh, hello there, Mr. John White. You're just in time for another hit just in time for another um for another idea. So basically, I'm going to start over because John White just entered the room. Basically, what we're doing is we are planning. This is going to be sort of like a psychological connection. So let's say this. There's been this is like a cliche for every sweet 16 that Lucy gets herself a car. You know, we can make it all pink and pretty and all that stuff. So yeah, so after she, like, let's say she passed her driver's exam and then she got this car. However, though, some cars have a story, and this one was no exception. Basically, as soon as she begins like driving around like on her own, unexplained events begin occurring. First of all, she began seeing images of a hitchhiker keeping on the side of the road with his thumb out. And then another, this is actually two, and also seeing a car in the distance driving behind her, but she can see like the headlights, but it doesn't like show the car in full detail. However, until it becomes as let's say we're still thinking what Mina could actually be doing with this, but it turns out though there actually is a connection between the car and these two apparitions. This is actually where the death van thing comes in. Basically, the hitchhiker and the car are actually connected, and they were actually serial killers. So basically, here's how it would work. Let's say that this would usually take place in the woods, like the drive, like we're in. So let's say that the van that Jake has mentioned is hiding out in these trees, like in the trees. Like if you get this, the trees. And then one of the guys, like the hitchhiker, gets out of the truck, goes out into the street, and then pulls out his thumb like this, and goes, and then like waits for an unsuspecting driver to pick him up and go on. So then the van would start hola cola. All right, I'll continue. Hola cola. I'm sorry, you got me. So then the van would then start slowly driving up, and like the car would just go like, if I can. So all right. So then like the car gets suspicious, and then they attack. Like, and then put them up to the death van, pushes the car down the cliff, or puts it somewhere where they can't hide it, and drive off. That's how it works. So this car was actually supposedly the final victim, their supposed final victims, before they actually met their doom. So they're doing their usual thing when all of a sudden something goes wrong, and then the van meets its end. So then the car itself, so the hitchhiker and that van haunts the streets of that place. Oh my gosh. Can you all excuse me for 1 minute? Don't touch that mouse. I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. Hey, we're back. Sorry about that. I had to use the restroom. We all do. Anyways, next, so we're planning to have it, so it's going to be like, we could probably connect it sort of like the killer car story to a, basically, and also kind of like a ghosts connections in some way. It's going to be like that. So another one that I had, actually, here's another one that's still in development, but I actually think would be sort of an interesting topic. Now, how many of you, well, if any of you guys right now have had an imaginary friend? Anyone? I'll give you a minute to respond. I think I need a drink. Oh, we got one. Well, to be honest, I kind of had one too. So I was thinking that there actually, this is sort of a rarity, but I know that there's been tons of like interpretations of an imaginary friend. There's been film. Well, that's interesting. There's been interpretations of it. Fairly Odd Parents has done one. Powerpuff Girls has done one. Even there was a whole show dedicated to imaginary friends, Foster Home for Imaginary Friends, which I consider one of the greatest Cartoon Network shows of all time. However, they're actually they still have not taken a darker route. Even like Billy and Mandy, which supposedly actually was inspired by Mina and the Count, actually didn't do an episode that I know of as of right now. I have not actually seen the entire show, but most of it. Didn't do a show like one based on like an imaginary friend. So this is still a work in progress, and this came up actually roughly this week. I know I'm saying ums a lot. I'm sorry. This is like my first live stream, and I'm kind of a little unprepared. So I was thinking what we could do is make it like a deadly imaginary friend that actually has a mind of its own. Kind of like a, how to describe it? Like a figment of imagination mixed in with that of a ghost. A ghost that a supernatural, so it could be a supernatural entity that kind of like goes around like let's say not too far actually, because since it's like it's getting to know the place, like its surroundings. Oh, well, it's done to that. What book? Because I actually do not. I know Goosebumps. I've actually seen some of the TV show. In fact, one of my favorites actually was Perfect School, because it actually had Albert from Resident Evil in it. Well, Albert Wesker or whatever his name was, the actor who played him was in it. All right, I'm gonna go. Good luck with your project. Please don't go. I only got 3 viewers. There's no one here but 2 others. Anyways, so Rulker, what actually was the haunted hour? I'm actually gonna look that up. Give me a minute. So anyway, you see, imaginary friends can actually that are pretty much like a psychological thing, figment of people's imaginations that usually go that usually are pretty much in the mind for a certain period of time. That is like children. I actually had several imaginary friends back in the day. Oh wait, this is the haunting. Oh, it's in the haunting hour. Oh, that was a good show. Actually, I kind of considered it like the kids' version of American Horror Story. What episode though? Because I do not know. I have not seen all the episodes. I was aware of the only episode that I've seen was called Chasing. I forget it had the actor who played Riley and no, actually not Riley. Rowley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the actor. And he was chasing like this ice cream truck. I think it was called Chasing. Oh, no, I remember. Catching Cold. That's the episode. Catching Cold. So now, okay, so let's go back to it. This could be like sort of like an imaginary friend that could live inside, like, can actually manifest itself in sort of like a doll. Like, let's say a doll or something that the person, like a person has grown fondly attached to. Like, well, since like most of the kids here, most of the children and most of the characters are going to be like children, especially Mina and Nick, we can actually have a character around that age. It's like sort of attached to something, like, you know, like one that could be like holding like a stuffed animal or something that tells them about, like, you know, like that. Yeah. So so that's actually sort of one. So actually, I actually want to ask this because I think we could probably are gonna actually, I want to ask everyone else. What do you have? What, if you have any ideas for it, what do you have? I'll leave you all a minute to ask that, because I actually want to know, not just for myself, because I pretty much came up with nearly, I'm going to say like nearly a dozen, I think roughly a dozen ideas that could actually almost fill up an entire season on its own. But the thing is, though, is that I'm now starting to think that maybe I shouldn't actually list all of them. Like, perhaps I should get someone else. I want to hear what someone else has to offer, because we do have one in the works that's kind of actually, we do have one in the works that's basically that's actually sort of like a comedy one that we're that's currently in the writing stages. And there's one that we came up with. This is going to be confirming, because since this is a supernatural story about supernatural beings, we're going to have one that's similar. Let's like a Van Helsing character. So, you know, that it's like a Dracula. If there's a Dracula, you got to have a Van Helsing, or someone that is posing as a Van Helsing, because it's, you know, like, you know, that's going to be like attempting to put the silver bullet. Okay, I'll go off topic for 1 minute. So, Ray, can you actually describe to me what this Dark Kid show is, though? A Dark Kid story? Because can you describe it for me? Or if you want to... All right. Anyways, well, it's about three. Okay, so technically it's about three friends, and I'll keep going on. So we have plans for a group that actually this was kind of funny. So, in the original idea we had planned for this, we were originally supposed to be babies. Idea coming up. Oh, I get it. You know what I think it's like? Actually, I think I know what this is similar. So I'm gonna take a guess. Because there were actually a lot of babysitting stories now. So actually, you do raise actually a pretty cool idea, because we do actually have an idea there that's basically about a babysitter, but it's sort of right now it's actually been pushed off to the rejected concept, as it was originally put for the rejected concept of the show. But I do think of actually time and time again to actually bring it back. But now babysitting, actually, you do raise a good point, because there have been tons of, actually, I have actually on YouTube, there actually is a YouTuber out there named I think her name is Jessie V. Her name is. She actually had a babysitting story that's sort of actually a mix between that's sort of a mix between the imaginary friend one and the babysitting story. But you can actually, I'll put a link in the description below, though, because it's kind of actually a pretty scary story. So there actually were other stories I do remember, actually. There was one called, if any of you have read a series called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So wait, they all get, You know what? I think you know what's like. I think there actually was a film that's kind of similar, but instead of babysitters, it actually the kids were home alone. It's called The Gate. I think it's. Hold on, hold on. I'm gonna actually post. I'm gonna show you what because I actually know what you are talking about. It's basically it's sort of it's a similar plot. It's called The Gate. So it's actually sort of a spooky looking film. So let me pull up a poster. It looks like this. It's like a so basically this film is basically about a group of kids, one played by Stephen Dorff and some other thing before they became child actors. They were home alone, and then all of a sudden this paranormal stuff happens after the death of this kid's of one of the neighborhood kids' dogs that acted as a sacrifice to have these demons that live below them to come forth. And if there are two other sacrifices, a demon will be unleashed that can take over the world. Overall, I have not seen the film itself, but I actually read a review, like I saw a film review from cinemassacre.com or James Rolfe as you heard, and it looks really spooky. There was a sequel, though, called Gate 2 Trespassers that had one of the actors to return, and there actually was plans of a remake in the works with H.R. Geiger to handle the art. But unfortunately, Geiger passed away. Actually, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Geiger or is it Giger? I don't know. But he passed away from an injury. But still, I haven't heard anything about the remake. But we could actually, that's actually a nice, cool idea because we could actually experiment with some babysitting ideas. So, actually, I like this idea. Hold on. I'm going to type this in. This is sort of a really weird idea that I had because this was based on a film that I saw called The Stuff. Because I'm a guy who actually likes the classic stuff. Like, there's been plenty of classes like The Exorcist or Jaws, Carrie, The Shining, Friday the 13th, Gremlins, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, Blair Witch, Sixth Sense, yada 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 yada. I've seen all of them. Like, I haven't seen like The Exorcist, but I pretty much know what they're. So a candy, but in reverse. What do you mean? So what do you mean, like, reverse, actually? If, anyways, I actually also go for obscure kind of films, because there is one film in particular that really actually stuck out to me, because the idea alone actually really sounds incredibly stupid when you first think of it. But the execution, on the other hand, was actually really cool. Was actually a very interesting. The execution was actually pretty cool, and I actually enjoyed the film. So this film is actually a 1985 B horror film called The Stuff. Basically, here's the gist. It's basically about a food product. Wait, have you played? No, I have not played Cuphead, although I have heard many great things about it. I think it's a really cool. I have not played the game itself, but I heard that the game itself. I'm sorry, the game was extraordinary and pretty much like a big good. It's like a great throwback to the 1930s. 30s. Sorry, I'm gonna be like, I tell you, I could be like the Wizard of Oz. So here's one thing that we're thinking of doing. Basically, we're thinking this kind of. This is another one that I'm thinking of. If what you guys think so far is that I'm thinking of an idea where it's going to be pretty much sort of like junk food in a way. Like an episode that's based around junk food. Like, because there's that saying, like, don't eat junk food or else you're going to get, like, you know, fat. Or no, fiat, as people say it. Or you're going to get sick or you're going to get them diabetes. Excuse me. Sorry, I have to drink up. I have to, like, you know, keep myself hydrated. So anyways, I'm going to take this out. So it's going to be basically, like, let's say it's, I'll tell you the story of the movie anyways. I'll tell you the story of the film, so if you guys can actually get some stuff. So basically, it's a food product that's sort of like a yogurt ice cream-ish something. I'm going to say it's a yogurt because it's actually placed in the fridge rather than the freezer. It's this food product that actually helps you lose weight, and it tastes like, it's like probably one of the sweetest, it's like one of the most delicious things that people have ever tasted. It's smooth, it's creamy, and it like tastes like, it's sort of like, I'm going to describe, this was actually one's description in The Haunting Hour, because this is actually a pretty good description. It's like heaven was melting over their tongues. Actually, this was from the same episode, Catching Cold. I actually liked the description. It really does fit with it. However, though, here's where it actually gets suspicious. And if you've ever seen The Blob or have heard of the classic, actually, this year marks the 60th anniversary of the original. So, I'm actually probably going to go watch it for it. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, something like that. Sort of like that. However, it turns out that this substance is actually a living microorganism that's deadly. And once you start eating it, like to a point, like a certain amount of time, you sort of become addicted to it like a drug. But when you eat as much of it, it'll like start to consume your body and then eat you alive. It's actually kind of, it's very like the thought of something in your home that you don't realize is deadly, but is delicious. It's just like, it can kill you. And the problem is, though, is that it's never really explained what it is, where did it come from, or why is it killing people? Actually, not because that's what actually really kind of made the movie sort of interesting, because it told like all that you needed to know, but also kind of kept some stuff a mystery to actually keep us thinking and actually make us, I don't know, what actually, you know, because the premise of it was so like dumb, but at the same time, the execution was great. It made you forget, like, or it just ignore the fact that you just like need all this logic, like this explanation, like saying, oh, where's this come from? Or, oh, it's like this kind of thing. But anyways, I gotta get off topic, but let's get back to the subject. So perhaps if we can, an idea can come to the mind that there's like a junk food out there that can actually get people to sort of going addicted to it, to a point where it's not gonna be like weight gain or something. It's gonna be more like they get rabid or like become sort of like zombies in a way. That's kind of like, because that's kind of what they're pretty much are. They're like for like a drug or something, like, you know, those illegal drugs, they become like mindless zombies that all they want is just that, like, or this drug, whatever they want. Oof, I'm actually already bummed out. Before we go, though, this is actually going to be only a 1 hour. This is actually going to be only 1 hour live stream, because this is actually my very first attempt at doing this, and I have not actually been. I've actually been in plenty of live streams myself, but I've not actually fully done one beforehand. But before we go, though, I urge everyone. What do you mean I can't? John, what do you mean I can't think of anything to say? Do you have something you'd like to share with the class? I'm waiting, John. I'm waiting for you to speak. Okay, so anyways, this is sort of an urgent message to everyone out there who is watching this video right now, or if anyone who is planning to, you know, I need your help. I definitely need your help to everyone out there. Is that I need people to help me out with this, this person. Also, this poster right here, the link I just posted is the link to the Mina and the Count fan base, and you can join right now. No, Mr. Teacher Man, I just can't think of anything. I can't think of any ideas. Okay, but here's the thing, though. We are, I'm hoping to actually. So the link I just posted is the link to the Discord site. If any of you have Discord, please click the link right there. And for those who are not watching right now and are just watching this video as this is offline, I'll put a link right there in the description below. Also, I will also give you the link to the website. This website is still online, as usual. I do have a form, though, but I don't really use the form. There's also a link to the forms from it. So this link, actually, I'll show you to all those before we go. I will show all of you how you can get on to audition before we go. So here is the website. Very spooky website. Let me actually, hold on. I love this part. Watch. Spooky. All right, so to go to audition today, go to samfoster213.wixsite.com/Mina and the Count. So then you can click on initiation, select whatever one you can do. If you have any plans, if you like, you're also permitted to use to do multiple auditions or do multiple roles. You can actually do it within, as soon as like you sign up for one, you can actually say, hey, I want to do this. And I'll be like, sure. And show me what you can do. So then you click on one of these pictures. This is just like some pictures, you know. Let's say I want to do screenwriting. So you go to this link and it'll show you an application right here. I need to get this updated because this is an old one. So you fill it out right here, and I will check it out. And also, this is definitely required for every single person who is writing an application. Please, I urge you, because I've actually had some people who have not done it, and I had to send them an email out. Please send an audition beforehand, like an audition as soon as you're done writing up a doing an audition, or like send a tape or send a video or send a like an audio track of what you're doing, and then send it to this email right here, which is mina@gmail.com. So in conclusion, I hope to actually get more project. I hope to actually get this project out there in the future, because I know this has been a rough start so far, and also this cartoon has not been very well known. It's pretty much stands in the shadows of like Teenage Robot and other horror classics. But I do hope by some, like, because I've been pushing this for, I know I've been this, but I've now been pushing this and I'm getting this out there for all of you. And I do hope that someday that my first episode will be out. I actually have sort of a to be announced. I want to have this out by 2021 or 2022, because it's going to take a while. But I promise you that I will hopefully get this out, and I'm going to tell you I am not going to give up on this, no matter how long it's going to take, the consequences, or if even that that cursed Viacom comes after me, like he did for, like if he tries to do for Teenage Reboot. You all keep that in mind. I will not give up. So, in conclusion, I hope to see you all guys, and thank you so much to anyone who has been joining the live stream. Make sure to click the links in the description below and subscribe for more content. So, I'll hope to see you guys on the Discord, which is also in the link. So, talk to you guys later. Peace.